Hello and welcome to another edition of Howl Time. Today we are joined by Rebecca from Healing with Wolves and Anusha, who will be talking about issues which we have been discussing in the past few days and the past few years. We'll be talking about spirituality and the art of detachment. Are we a drop by ourselves or a drop in the ocean? We'll be talking about compassion and how helping others can reduce our energy levels, and of course how to fit in amongst all of the things going on at the moment. So enjoy the ride, and if you have any questions, please feel free to send us in our inbox or as comments to this podcast. Enjoy.
Hi everyone, this is Rebecca with you from Healing with Wolves, and it's whole time. For a whole time today, we have Anusha with us. Hi Anusha.
Hello, Rebecca. How are you today?
Doing very well, thank you. You must have recognized the voice of Anusha. She was my guest last couple of weeks, and we spoke about sustainability and how we have to review our belief system and our eating habits. So Anusha told me that she followed my activities and my pages on Instagram since a long time. And I was really humbled when she told me that I've inspired her in many ways. And she had questions for me. So today I'm not going to be asking questions. Rather, I will try my best to answer questions. And Anusha told me that she wanted to ask me a few questions and share it with you guys listening to us.
Yes. So thank you very much, Rebecca, for this opportunity to have this conversation with you, which I have always wanted to have because following your posts on Instagrams, and I just realized that those posts resonate so much with me, and I'm sure there are so many other people who resonate with it. So I came up with a list of 5 questions which I wanted to ask you, and it is also quite general for people who embark on the spiritual life. And as I always say, we are a spiritual being experiencing a human life. So there are things which come up, and how can we better live our spiritual life while being here as a human being? So, Rebecca,
Yeah.
we hear about spirituality everywhere. We see the words, we see the quotes, we hear people talking about it. But I want to ask you, in your essence, in your experience, in your exposure, what is spirituality? Please tell us more about it.
Okay. Well, if I had to answer questions relating to spirituality, you will have to bear with me because in every answer I will quote my Guruji said, because I cannot talk about spirituality and my path on the spiritual life without mentioning about my Guruji, because he is the one who taught me, and I'm still learning from him about what is spirituality and what it takes to walk on the spiritual path. So for now, what I've been able to learn is that spirituality is a relationship between you and God, or the creator, or greater power, whatever name you call him. So this is a relationship between you and God. What I've also learned from my Guruji is that spirituality is a quest where you get to know who you are, why you're here, and how to do what you came here for. Because if you've come here in the human form, it is with the aspiration to attain a certain level of consciousness and to go back to God. This is our blessing, being born as human, being
Yeah.
having this human experience. Being spiritual has nothing to do with the way you dress up or the behavior that you have in society, because, like you said, we hear a lot about the word spirituality, and many people have this vision like, if you're a spiritual person, you have to dress up in a certain way, you have to behave in a certain way. You cannot judge someone by their physical appearance and say, oh, this person is spiritual and this one is not. You cannot judge someone by the way they look and say that they are spiritual or not. It is a lot of inner work. Being a spiritual, like, it's a lot of inner work. It is working on you for you. It is about checking on yourself, checking your attitude, your thoughts, your actions, your words. Basically, like, if you say you will do something, do your actions match your words? It's all about spirituality.
Yeah. So basically, spirituality is more about self-work, clearing our karma,
Yes,
dealing with a situation to bring out the best in ourselves, to attain a higher level of energy, and at the end of the day, to resonate at such a level that we can connect with God.
that is it.
Yeah.
Connecting with God is because, like you said earlier, we are a soul having a human experience. So using this human experience to connect with your soul. When I say, like, spirituality is inner work, is working on you, it is getting to know who you are. It's not getting to know who you are as a human, because you have a human nature and your soul has a nature. It is connecting with the nature of the soul and being more of that.
Exactly. And also to transcend the boundary between the human form to reach the soul form,
True.
and also to use the divine powers to do this process as well. I would say this is also spirituality. Yeah. So overall, we would say spirituality is the connection with God to do what we have to do here on earth.
Yes.
And I will take again what you said, to go back again to God.
Yes, true, because we, in this human form, many of us are disconnected from the source. So we evolve birth after birth to reconnect with the source and to go back to it, because we live a life of misery when we are disconnected from the source.
True. So we realize how beautiful and how powerful this is, to be a human being, physically present here, but at the same time connected with the divine, with God in the abode. How beautiful, how amazing is that?
It is, and it is a lot of work as well to maintain this connection, to establish the connection and to maintain it, because we can have some struggles. I mean, speaking for myself, sometimes I happen to have the relapse and getting distracted, and then I disconnect. I experience a whole lot of things, and then I have to realign, recenter, rebalance, readjust, and connect again with the divine energy that I'm so used to, and get back on track. So
yeah, that's
the spiritual path. I mean, it's not a straight line, you know. When you start, it's not a straight line. There's a lot of learning curves, a lot of growth taking place. This is spirituality. Some people think that Spirituality is, wow, everything is perfect. You live a life um, where there are no misery, no struggle, no pain. But no, we do have the struggle, we do have the pain, we do have everything. But we know that God is there and
Exactly.
there is help.
Yeah. In saying so, we can also say that spirituality enables us to see the darker sides of ourselves
Mhm.
and to work on it to convert it into light. And
True.
when we are light, we are one with God because God is light.
That's the inner work, because we have
Exactly.
this dark place inside of us that we have to go in and see what's there and bring the light in, because you can only see the stars at night.
Mhm.
So you have to go
Exactly.
in that dark place, do the shadow work, because in spirituality we have this phase where we do the shadow work and we come out, we emerge from this place and we bring out the light.
And also, the process is not easy, but as you said, we know we have the higher guidance of God, which
Mhm.
gives us even more strength to go deeper into spirituality and bring out our darkness, to shed light, and to become our best selves. So,
True.
spirituality is in itself a very beautiful learning curve. We have the cross and the trough moments, but what keeps us going on is the faith that
Mhm.
God is here to help us, and we are doing that work to go back to Him.
Yes,
How beautiful is that? From the source and back to the source.
that's the mission.
Exactly. So, talking about spirituality,
Mhm.
normally people have the misconception that engaging on the spiritual path means being detached from all forms of relationship. I wanted to ask you, how does one who aspires to engage in spiritual life
Mhm.
maintain a balance as a family member, a friend, a coworker, or even in a romantic relationship? How do we do that as a spiritual being?
Mm. The key word in what you said and the question is balance.
Mhm.
Because you said, how do you maintain a balance? This is the key word. So you can have your spiritual life and still be engaged into family life, into a form of relationship, be it a romantic relationship, be it a relationship with your friend, be it a relationship at work. It all takes balance. Why? Because too much of anything is not good. You have to have your spiritual life balanced with your social life. And
Exactly.
you can have a spiritual life and be engaged in any activity in the society. So you
Mhm.
have a time to practice your spirituality and you have a time that you dedicate for your family, for your friends, for your work, for your partner.
I
It,
will also add that when we are a spiritual being, it doesn't mean it isolates us from everyone else.
not at all.
Instead, instead, it brings us closer to people
Mhm,
because we start doing our inner work and
mhm.
we start radiating from that and we start attracting souls
That,
and people who are on the same level.
mhm.
And this does not at any cost isolate us from other people
No,
because that's where many people struggle, I think, to maintain the balance because they think spirituality is isolation. But no, spirituality is embracing your relationships
uh,
and maintaining the balance.
yeah, this is true. And isolation period may be sometime required to do the inner work.
Mhm.
Don't be scared about it. If you find yourself alone, it's for you to do the inner work. It is the time that you have to dedicate for yourself and to embrace the first relationship that is with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And as you start knowing who you are, you start knowing what you want, you start knowing what you have to do, or you get this guidance of what you have to do, your vibration starts to change, because we are energy, and energy doesn't remain static, it evolves. And that same energy is going to attract energy likewise. And you will find yourself meeting people, being engaged into activities, having situations presented to you that will resonate with your vibration, resonate with your frequency, and with what you want to do. So you're not completely detached from all forms of relationship. Rather, you attract the relationships that are going to serve you. There are relationships, of course, that are there for you to learn and grow. Some relationships that might end painfully because you have to learn through that. But there are those relationships where you will learn something new and you will grow out of it. It's all a matter of choice at the end of the day. It's doing what you feel is right and best for you and for others. There is something also that my Guruji told me. It is to be detached from everyone. So you still have relationships, you still contribute in the society by being present, but at the same time being detached from everyone, except from your Guru and God. And whenever my Guruji tells me to do something, I know that he means it for my highest good. So I may not understand it right on the spot why he's telling me to do something, but I agreed immediately when my Guruji told me, like, detach yourself from everyone except from Guru and Govind. So, and then I reflected after a few days on this, on what he said, and understood that attachment in this material world creates expectations. And the root cause of suffering is attachment. So being attached to people, being attached to material things, being attached to situations will create suffering and more suffering because it will create expectations. But by being attached to the Guru and to God, there is no deception.
Very true.
That is the beauty of engaging on the spiritual path, because you build a resilient mindset. You see that this material world is there for a purpose, but you as a soul, you have a purpose as well. So then you choose, either you're going to be attached to this material world or you're going to see beyond it.
So spirituality enables us to dissolve those limitations which we have as human being, and help us to embrace real meaning of relationships rather than being attached and expect anything from anyone.
Yes.
Very beautiful.
So when you
that requires so much power.
Yeah, because when you see a spiritual person being detached from all forms of relationship, it doesn't mean that this person doesn't want to have any form of relationship. It is simply being detached from the expectations and everything, but still being there and contributing and being present in the society and in any other form of relationship. This is the what you see and what really is, from a spiritual point of view, of course.
Very true. And very often we find ourselves out of place. Sometimes we feel like we don't fit in,
Mhm.
or mundane talks do not interest us. As a spiritual being, how do we deal with the world while really keeping a sense of who we are?
Well, as far as I can remember, I always had this awkward feeling since childhood that I never fit in. I've
Yeah.
tried, I've tried really hard, but it didn't work. When I try to fit in, I don't feel like I am myself, and
Exactly.
I was happier spending time by myself, learning how to be alone, until I started having friends who were as weird or were also feeling as awkward as I. And
Mm.
when you have those kind of friends, age doesn't really matter. Because now I have friends who are younger and who are older. My youngest friend is 8 years old, and she's going to be
Mm.
9 years old this year.
That's true.
Um, so when you feel like you don't fit in, um, my advice would be learn how to become your own friend.
True.
And this will help you later on. Um, like you said, if you see yourself not being able to engage into talks, into mundane talks, if you're not learning something by being there, move. If you feel
Move
like
on.
you're not growing, move. You get to choose the environment and what kind of conversation you wish to entertain.
Yeah.
So better be by yourself for a while, do something, and then you will attract obviously people and situations that match your energy, your vibration. Um, because there's one thing again that
Mm.
my Guruji has taught me is that when you decide to move, the universe moves with you.
Mm.
Situations are created, opportunities are manifested, people are sent to you to help you in the direction you choose to move. So
Mm.
don't try to fit in. If you're in a place and you feel like you're not yourself, move. You're not a tree, move. And don't worry about being alone. Maybe it's a gift by being alone.
Mm.
You have time to spend with yourself. You have time to check in with yourself. You have time to review what you really want and how you want things to work out for you. Um, when you feel like you don't fit in, the best way to deal with the world is by being you. Don't try to change.
Exactly. And I think um, when we feel that we don't fit in and that normal mundane talks do not interest us, or activities that people usually do don't have any effect on us, or we don't want to participate, it's not because we are unwilling to, but it's really being true to our core,
Mhm.
really being in tune with who we are and just seeing what fits best for us.
Yeah.
And I think when we feel that we don't fit in, it gives us that boost, that trigger to go
Mhm.
and understand why you don't fit in. Why at age 5 you didn't fit in? Why at age 15 you didn't fit in? Why at age 25 you didn't fit in? Why is this? Why is the pattern like this? And this requires us to go deep inside and do the work and understand really who we are and how we are vibrating and
Mhm.
what we want to attract and how to vibrate to that energy to be able to attract people like us.
Yeah.
But to attract people like what we want is really firstly to know who we are. Then we can attract people who relate to us.
This is what we spoke about in the beginning about the spiritual quest, getting to know who am I, because I had this question for many years, and I still have this question, like, who am I, and why I don't fit in, why I'm different, and why, so many whys and so many hows. So when you start asking the question, trust that there is a higher power, a superpower out there. He hears those questions and he delivers the answers on time. So don't be impatient. Don't don't lose hope, because all the questions are answered in his time.
Yeah.
And it all makes
Because
sense. When the answers are there, it all makes sense.
Because very often people find it very confusing, because they no longer identify with their name, with their job, or with their family, or with the place they are studying at, or with their peers. They just no longer identify themselves with those. So they realize they don't fit in, and this only triggers them to really go in. And like you say,
I can share this
divine power,
personal,
right?
and I can share this personal experience being at family gatherings and asking yourself, what am I doing here?
Exactly. I relate. I totally relate.
I think there's a lot of people who have had this question, and when they are at family gatherings and asking themselves, like, what the heck, what am I doing here? And they cannot participate. I found it very difficult at my last family gathering. I was like, okay, and I had to find an excuse, to leave. And I was like, yeah, it takes a lot of energy, because sometimes you still have to make efforts to be there, but only if you have like a duty to be present. But trust me, I know what it takes. I've been there.
I can relate too, because at school I never fit in. In high school, even less. And it's only when I started my spiritual path when I was 17 that I understood I had a mission. I discovered that who am I really? I've discovered I'm a soul. And till today, 12 years down in the line, I acknowledge myself as a soul, and I take full cognizance of what it represents in the world today, and I accept it as a gift. And this does not make me separate myself from people or distance myself from people. Rather, again, it allows me to love people on another different level. Learning to love, accept people who are different than me, and really understand that we all have our own bit to do here on the earth, and not feeling like fitting it doesn't really matter when I know my mission is what, when I'm clear on who I am inside of.
True.
So yeah.
I can relate to that. You develop like an unconditional love for yourself and for others. This is what spirituality has done to me.
It stems from inside. The unconditional love is with you, then you can give it to others.
Yep, this is very true.
So I would like to ask you also, how, as spiritual beings, we know very often we are here to help others people on their path. And sometimes we are also here to help ourselves. But when it comes to ourselves, we can't handle it. But because we know who we are, we know our energy. But when it comes to people, how do we really prepare ourselves to help the other without really feeling drained by the energy, without getting into the energetic field. How do we help them?
I call this the $1,000,000 question because many people.
I so love this. You're right.
Because we all feel this urge, you know, to go out and help. And you can spend a whole day, you can spend a half day out there helping people, and then when you come back home, you feel so drained. You feel like, you know, you just
Why?
yes, and it's completely drained. It does happen, and I'm sure you have heard, and many of you listening have heard about vampire energies. There are people who have, they are not vampires, don't worry, but it is the form of energy, you know, they absorb you, they absorb your energy, and they drain you completely. They can do this by being physically present next to you. They can do this through a conversation, even if they are talking to you over the phone, on a computer, like you have a digital conversation with them. If it is their energy, the moment you engage into a form of communication with people, with another person, they can absorb your energy if they have this vampire energy, or you feel connected to their energy, you feel connected to the vibration. But how to protect yourself from being drained? There are various techniques to protect yourself. It comes with the spiritual routine and the spiritual practice. This is why it is essential to have a spiritual hygiene, where you have a routine and practice, and a healing technique where you heal yourself and you also have a protective shield around you, so that you don't feel drained. But if you have not received any training how to practice a technique, you can use a simple prayer. Ask for the universe to be your guide and to guide you to people who will not drain you, and people you have to help, people you can help, but who will not drain you. And to protect you, ask the universe to send you the protective shield that you need. How to formulate the prayer is use your inner guidance, like close your eyes and think of God, think of a really bright, powerful light, and listen to your inner guidance, listen to that intuitive voice, and formulate your own prayer and send it out to the universe. I believe a lot in prayer. It can be any form. You can be sitting. If you don't have a prayer room, you can be sitting in your living room. You can be sitting in your bedroom and silently tune in and formulate a prayer and send it out to God. Sometimes all it takes is just one prayer and trust that it works. And feel
Like
protected.
having that direct conversation with God and asking to protect us.
Yes, I mean, you can have a conversation with God anytime. It's just like silence the noise and go inside. It takes practice. For some people, it comes naturally. For some people, it's difficult. But it's all about having a routine and a practice.
You can also do meditation.
Yeah, you can practice meditation to start silencing the noise and tune into that inner guidance. Sometimes you have this little voice, you have a thought, you have a gut feeling. It's all universe speaking to you. So listen, pay attention to it. Pay attention to how you feel also when you you receive the messages.
And also, I believe that we can help definitely because we have that power to help.
We are here
But
to
it is
help each
also
other.
exactly we are here to help each other to heal, to ascend, to awaken. But we also keep in mind that we can help, but to a certain extent. We can't really do the work of the other person that he has to do on his own, and we are just taking that work and helping him
Yeah.
through it. So sometimes it's very important to know the limit of how much we can help.
It's the limits and also the boundaries, because when you have this empath syndrome, like my Guruji call it, the Mother Teresa syndrome. So you feel like you want to help the whole world, but help yourself first, and then you start helping others. Now you have, if you feel like when you're offering your help to people and they are being abusive on you, like they're taking you for granted, or they are all the time relying on you to do what they have to do, set your boundaries. Help yourself to not feeling drained by setting boundaries. Boundaries, this is not being selfish, this is self-care.
Exactly, boundaries for yourself.
Yes, and anytime you want to help someone else, ask the person if they are open to receiving the help, because sometimes we feel like we're forcing our help onto someone else, and they're not ready and they're not willing, to receive the help. It's same for healing. Sometimes we feel like because we are healers, like we want to heal someone, we want to offer our help and heal that person because we feel and we see the suffering. But the primary question and the very important question that we have to ask is, are you willing to receive healing, and are you willing to let go of what is hurting you? If the person says yes, then you can start the work. If the person says, I don't know, or I'm not sure I want it, then you cannot force the help, you cannot force the healing to take place. You can send a prayer. You just formulate a prayer that this person be healed or this person receive the help that he or she needs, and that's it. Your job is done. Rest assured that your prayer has been heard and it will be answered. And that's it.
So it is this, like we really have to ask the person, do you need help? Because we just can't go around and help everyone, because at the end of the day, we will deplete ourselves of our energy.
Either deplete ourselves or our form of help can be misunderstood and misinterpreted, and it can cause more damage than help actually. So be sure to ask if they need help, if they're willing to receive help, and you start helping, but make sure that you are not going to drain yourself afterwards.
So it boils down to really protecting ourselves first by setting firm boundaries. Then help others. So help yourself first, set boundaries, then you can help others.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
You cannot put the oxygen mask on someone else if you haven't put yours first.
Oh yeah. being an ex-cabin crew, I have to tell you that this is life-threatening and life-saving as well. Put your own oxygen mask before helping someone else putting theirs.
It works same. It works same here.
Yeah. So, speaking about those, I come to my final question, which involves a word I really love: compassion. So, compassion, we hear it very often, and what I love is that nowadays the word compassion has become even bigger with the arrival of Corona. Because we are having a lot of compassion for everyone around the world, because we are all in a similar situation in confinement. And but not only that, compassion in itself is such a healing word when we hear it. Compassion. So I would like to ask you, compassion is the underlying principle as we understand that everyone has his or her own journey in this earth. So how do we keep this in mind during our daily lives while dealing with people?
Nice question, and I love this topic about compassion. And it took a virus to hit us to understand the meaning of compassion, and the importance of being compassionate towards ourselves and towards others. Compassion actually is an attitude. The same way you practice gratitude, compassion is an attitude. If you don't have it, develop it. It is very essential. Why it is essential? Because when you have compassion, when you develop compassion, when you live with this compassion, you become less judgmental. Less judgmental about yourself and about others. And it helps you understand that everyone has their own journey here. What I have to do, this is my journey. I cannot do someone else's mission, someone else's purpose, someone else's task. I have to do mine. And I understand it, and I have to respect that. So compassion is becoming less judgmental and becoming kind. Compassion steers kindness. You can develop it. It's being kind, being compassionate, being kind, understanding people, understanding yourself, not hurting yourself, be it through words, actions. You don't hurt yourself, and you don't want to hurt others. This is compassion. Having the attitude of compassion, you cannot be a bully. You don't want to hurt others because you understand the feeling of hurt. You know what it causes, and you don't want to do that to others. In Reiki, we have precepts, and my Guruji always mentioned this during workshops. When we have to learn the precepts, there's a precept where it is said, just for today, I am kind, I am humble. And he always joke about it. He says, if you are not humble and kind, you become like a bull, destroying everything and everyone on the way. So this is why compassion is an essential principle, an attitude that we humans have to develop. Because right now humans have to develop humanity, compassion not only towards other humans, but all living things, all life that is present. So compassion, being compassionate towards humans, being compassionate towards animals, being compassionate towards everything around you. Understanding that you're here to protect and you're not here to hurt.
Very true. And at the same time, compassion in itself is that respect we have for other lives. And it is, and for human beings, it is also the respect that we have for them in understanding that they have their own journey. We can't force anyone to reach X location furthest than they must have been doing it by now. Like we can't really push someone into doing something, despite that we see the person is suffering or is not doing something right. As you said, all we can do is just a prayer. We can send healing to that person. But compassion in itself is really understanding that each person has their own path, and at their own time they will have that clearer picture of where they should be. And whatever the behavior is,
We have to accept
we
it.
we have to accept it. Exactly. We can't judge.
No,
We really can't judge.
that's why I say it, because when you develop compassion, you become less judgmental. First towards yourself, because the first one we judge is ourselves. And if you say, no, I don't judge myself, but if you have the tendency of judging others, learn that people are reflections of who you are.
Exactly. And at the same time, if we think that because we are a spiritual being, we are better ahead than people, it's not at all being compassionate.
This is not being compassionate. This is the ego, which is not aligned with the spiritual part of who you are.
Exactly.
Spirituality is also being humble. So when you develop compassion, you have to develop humility next to it. No one is bigger, better. We are all here on a journey. Each one has their path. Some souls are more evolved than others, so their journey is going to be different. But we have to remember that we are here helping each other, protecting each other, and healing yourself and healing others.
Because we are all one.
Yes, we all come from the same source. And understanding that, we know that we are all part of each other. We are all reflection of each other. But everyone comes here with a purpose. Everyone comes here with a task. We all have a role to play in each other's life. And we all have a human nature. And we accept it, that certain people have a nature that doesn't resonate with us, but we cannot change that, and we're not here to change that.
Exactly.
And we choose yes, this is not our thing. We let the person be who they are, and we embody who we are. And that's it.
Because essentially everyone has their own soul journey, and being compassionate and being a spiritual being who is compassionate about others, we do understand that, for example, we can't tell a child of standard 1 to go and solve a problem of standard 6. So it's the same on the soul journey. Because everyone comes with it's a growth. Everyone comes with their own karma, and everyone comes with their own time to awaken, to be enlightened, to find their truth, to find their answers, to be their own authentic self.
This is beautifully said.
At a different time for different people.
Yeah, this is beautifully said. And speaking of karma, we all have our karmic baggage, and we have to understand that we're all here to work on that. So being compassionate is not adding up onto this karmic baggage that we have to get rid of.
Yeah, actually, compassion would be the tool that allows us to remove that karmic baggage, to clear that karmic baggage by having compassion for you and for others.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. You see, compassion is so magical in itself.
Compassion is
because it's
essential.
essentially really it is having a respect for everyone, for every life, for really understanding that everyone has their own time, and we should respect that own time. And we can't do anything about it. Only send prayers, send positive energy, and allow the seed to grow and flourish into a very good plant.
This is very, very true. And like you, whatever the seed that you have planted, you choose what you want to water it with. Either it is with love, with compassion, with gratitude, with kindness, or you can choose the total opposite.
Yeah.
And
At the end of the day, it's your own choice.
Yes, it's your own choice, because we humans, we have a gift called free will. And I think it's time now that we use the free will wisely.
Free will.
And we make choices for our highest good and the highest good of others. If you want to receive compassion, give compassion. If you want to receive mercy, show mercy. This is what my Guruji says all the time in all his classes. Whatever you want to receive, you have to give. And whatever you want to give to others, give it to yourself first, because like he always says, charity starts at home.
Exactly. How beautiful. So, Rebecca, thank you very much for today's talk. That was very uplifting and enriching, and I'm sure so many people are really relating to it. And I hope the questions have been able to shed light on so many aspects of spirituality, because so many people ask me on a daily basis, what is spirituality? And how do they go about it? Because when they see you dealing with life in a different way, and that different way is very effective in solving your problems and allowing you dealing better, they also want to know the key, and the key is spirituality. So thank you very much for sharing your experience and also allowing me to share my experience, so we can together inspire more people to join the spiritual path and be better and connect to the source. Thank you so much, Rebecca. This has been very humbling.
I thank you, Anusha, and it is a very special conversation that we had, and I'm very humbled to be able to contribute into that and being able to answer your questions. I hope that you receive the answers that you were expecting, and that our listeners are going to have what they need to hear at the moment. And like you said, the key to happiness is spirituality. And I've shared this a couple of weeks ago, is that how to use the key is to have a bona fide guru. And I have to say that I am really blessed to have one in my life. And if you walk on the spiritual path, make sure that you have a teacher. It is very important. The teacher is very important to guide you. Because some people say that they want to engage on the spiritual path and they want to do it on their own. This is not the proper way. To be able to engage on the spiritual path, you need the guidance of a guru. So ask the universe to guide you, to the right one.
Because the guru is so important, because the guru is the channel to God. it is the proper channel to God. It is through Him that you will learn how to connect to God.
Yes,
See His
and
gifts.
actually we have a Sanskrit mantra, and the definition of it is that the Guru is God Himself.
Mm.
And when you have this bona fide Guru, you feel the love, you feel the presence, you feel the vibration, you feel like, yes, God and Guru is one. This is why I tell you people, if you don't have one, ask the universe to send you to your Guru, to your teacher, who's here to guide you on your spiritual path.
I seize this opportunity to really thank my gurus, the two main gurus who really helped me in my life, and both are women.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel so empowered and so thankful to them and all other gurus who are both men and women. I thank them, and I realize that where we are in our life is
Yes.
through their support, and they have really been excellent in their path to guiding us to the source. Thank you.
I thank you too.
Thank you.
And I think that this conversation and this podcast is dedicated to our gurus and our lineage of gurus.
Yeah, let us give it to our gurus.
Yes, I give it to
So
my
thank
guru
you
and the
very-
lineage of gurus. Thank you very much, Anusha.
Yeah, to the lineage of gurus. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you so much.
So goodbye for now, and we're going to be with you very soon for another whole time on Healing with Wolves.